Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the initial block some more. This video is going to be a little bit of like an extension for you. So if you want to use more than one letter, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, this is kind of sort of how we can do it for this project. So sketch on the front plane, go front, call it letters, use the text tool, and I'm going to make 3 letters because I do my 3 initials are C and R again. Right, now for this, we want to still use the same kind of specifications we had where it's a 2x2 square. So what I'm going to show you is a construction line. So if you go here to construction and then corner rectangle, and then make that corner rectangle, you can see it makes a box that has dotted lines, kind of like these boundary lines for our text. Now these construction lines, they're just utilized to lay things out, right? They're not actually part of our design, and we don't want our boundary lines from our shapes to be like on the construction lines, because then it kind of gets locked in. It's a little bit of a headache to work with, so just remember that, right? But since I made my 2x2 box, my letters have to fit inside that 2x2 box, right? And here it's only going to go up or down because it is locked into that boundary. So if that is an issue for me, I can always delete it and remake it. Not a big deal. And now I'll be able to grab it and freely move it. Just keep that in mind, right? So I'll shrink it down. I'm just going to shrink them just for a moment so we can kind of see what we got going on. But now, right, if we start adding some dimensions, if I go for the middle one here, right now, my C, the height, is less than an inch. Let's make it like 1.25 so we can kind of see a little bit what we're working with. And now once I have that, I also want to dimension the C to the center, right? So the center of our 2 inches would be 1 inch. That way I know the C is perfectly centered, right? So now for my 2 R's, in order for them to, be connected, because we want this as one part, we have to make sure that our letters are overlapping slightly, right? So you don't want them to be too much. You want them to be overlapping slightly, kind of sort of like that. Now you can also dimension the height of my R's in this case. That way we're uniform. So we're super close to 0.6. Let's just make them both 0.6. That way they're consistent, and it'll be nice and balanced. And then I'm going to slide this over a little bit. That way it overlaps a little here and a little here. Now what I can do is I can confirm my sketch, go to extrude, select all the letters that I want to extrude, and then you got to make sure that those little sections there are selected. So if I go to letters, right, you select each letter, and then the overlapping portion too. Make sure they're all colored in. Do it for 0.5. And now I have my 3 initials extruded together, and they're going to be one part. So you can watch the video for the regular initial block in order to make the legs at the bottom. You also, right, if I go here, if I go back to my letters, I also, if I'm making this, right, if I want to get rid of, maybe I just want to do 2 initials, right? So let me I'll get rid of this whole sketch here. I'll get rid of this. If I were to just add a sketch on the front plane, I can go to my text. I can make an R, right? And I'm going to add another one. In here, if I go R, I can flip it horizontally, so it's going to be a backwards R, or I could flip it vertically, so it's going to be an upside down R. Now this doesn't really help us too much, vertical flip, but if we flip horizontally, now I have an R that is in reverse. So if I want to slide this over and go here, now if I want to make them from here to here as 2, or if I want to make that construction box 2 by 2, I can then make it so my R's are going to be opposites. Right, so I obviously have to play with my dimensioning here a little bit. So what if I made them 1? And I overlap them. Oop, that's not going to work. See how it's red? It's yelling at me. I want to go a little past that. Still yelling at me here. So let's just get rid of that. And now you see how the shapes are overlapping. So I can call this letters. Boom. I'll go to extrude it, click the R, click the middle gap. And now if I make sure it's letters, 0.5, boom, now I have an RR. And again, you would just watch the first video in order to make the legs that are on the back in order to hold your phone stand. Alright, hope that helps. See you soon.